Hello students, Miss Lockhart here. Let's draw our visual textured fox. You're going to need a pencil and an eraser, a white drawing piece of paper, and a regular Sharpie and a fine point Sharpie. Or you can use a black marker and a black ballpoint pen. So let's make your page vertical and then fold it in half like this, long ways, also known as a hot dog fold. Make sure you meet the corners and then press down the fold. When you open it up again, you will see the middle now has a fold line, and you have your left and right hand side of your paper. This is going to help us draw our fox. Okay, so you can go ahead and get your pencil, and we're going to put a dot where our nose is going to start. The dot is going to be about finger's length from the bottom of the page. So I use my finger to measure from the bottom, and then right above my fingernail, let's put a dot on the fold line in the middle. That dot is going to be our nose, the bottom of the nose. So the nose is almost like a triangle shape, but an upside down triangle where the point is at the bottom, and the points aren't actually pointed, they're curved. So make sure you go ahead and curve the points to your upside down triangle nose. And then once you're happy with that, we can move on to the next step. So I'm going to the bottom of the nose here, and I'm bringing a curved line up to the right-hand side and to the left-hand side. These are pretty big curved lines. We really want them to be big because this is going to be the inside of our fox's face, and we need it to take up most of the page. So take a look at the space between those lines and the paper. Make sure it's only about an inch or two. That extra paper on the outside, just have an inch or two. So then you can do your shoulders and the fox's body. There are curved lines on the right and on the left side, also keeping it symmetrical if possible. That's why you're using a pencil, so you can always erase if your lines end up looking too different. All right, so once you're happy with those lines, we can move on to the next step. You can always pause the video if you'd like. Now we're going to do the crown of the head, the very top of the head. So first let's mark the spot where we're going to connect our line. It's about a pointer finger's length from the top of the page down. So then when you have your little dash, you can connect it to the left and right side of our previous lines to create a nice curved line, just like a rainbow line. And notice I'm sketching. So I sketch multiple lines until I'm happy with one. Okay, now for the curved, more diagonal lines here. It starts at the nose in the middle, close to the middle of the nose, and goes up to the right-hand side. And then I'm going to try to do the same symmetrical line on the other side. So I want to put it in the same place, but on the left side of the nose, and bring it up to the top left of the head. Now you might want to take a minute to look at this and see, is the left side the same as the right? And really do try to erase and change it and draw lightly so that you can erase. And now, I love this part. Now I'm going to do some zigzag lines. Now they're curved zigzag lines on the right side here, kind of where the fox's cheek is. It has a nice furry little cheek. So it needs some curved zigzag lines on both the left and the right side. Now these don't have to be perfectly symmetrical because the fur could be a little different, but you can try to make it symmetrical and line it up. So you can see I've done 4 points on my zigzag line, and then I connected those zigzag lines to the curved lines we had just done for the nose. Okay, I've gone over most of my lines. Now I need to go over my top line where the curve is for the head and make it a little bit darker. Okay, now I am happy with the shape of the head. For the most part, it's symmetrical enough, and now I'm going to do some more fun zigzag curve lines at the top of the head. You can see it represents a little bit of a little tuft of hair coming off the top of the fox. So they're curved zigzag lines, just like we did before, but they're actually pointed downward, aren't they? Look how the point is pointed down, and then it comes up and down. So you can practice doing those zigzag lines too. You can see it looks like some fur. And once you're happy with your zigzag lines and really all of your lines, you can go over them and erase the ones you don't want, like I'm doing here. So I'm going over the ones that I like for sure and making them darker so that I can see the other lines that I don't want. The lighter lines can be erased. And you might spend a few minutes here going around your outline and making sure you're happy with your outline by darkening the lines you like and erasing the lines you don't like. Okay, so here is the shape of my fox's head. It's missing something important though. What do you think it could be? The ears. We need to start on our ears. Now the ears are going to be a triangular shape again with curved points. So go ahead and take a look at this line. It's a curved line that's kind of diagonal, goes up, and then it goes down again, but it gets wider at the base, so it can look kind of like a triangle. And there's the middle, and I'm going to try to do the ear exactly on the opposite side so it's mirrored and symmetrical. So I'm going to do the same curve at the same height and then bring it down and trying to make sure that the ear is the right width. Now I have to make it a little bit smaller because it was a little wide on that left side. So you can adjust your lines and sketch different lines until you're happy with the shape. And then when you're happy with your ear shape, go on the inside of that shape and mimic the same shape but smaller inside the ear. This will be the inside of the fox's ear. Okay, so I'm going to go over the lines that I like on the ear, make sure it's symmetrical. Again, just taking a look. You can always erase things you don't like. I'm going to make the eyes. They are ovals, and the ovals are tall or vertical. And see here I'm sketching that oval a few times until I'm happy with the shape. And then do a little tiny dot on the inside. It's on the right side of the eye on the top. Okay, now I'm going to adjust this line. I just noticed I could make the right side a little wider to match the left side. You'll be doing things like this too, and yours could be different. You might be adjusting it in a different way. So I'm going to make that bottom part of the chin a little bit wider and erase any extra lines I don't love. I don't want them to confuse me when I outline it. Okay. So here is the fun part. We've done the outline of our fox and we're ready to create the curved lines that are going to be filled in with the hair texture. So look closely at what I'm about to do. I'm starting here at the bottom of the fox on its body or its shoulders, and I'm going to be making a curved line, the same curved line at the bottom of the head. So it's going to mimic the line right there at the bottom of the head. See? It's a similar curve as the bottom of the headline. And I'm going to repeat that line about 3 or 4 times until I hit the bottom of my paper. Just make sure you're making a curved line and not a straight line. And they're more horizontal, going left to right. And try to make the lines spread out at the same with the same width so that they're evenly spaced as best you can. It doesn't have to be perfect. And the lines need to be light. Don't draw too dark. And every moment I see something I can adjust, I adjust. I'm going to change the inside here of the fox's nose shape just so it looks a little bit more symmetrical. That's why we like to use pencil, so we can always change things. So I'm erasing the line I don't want, and I'm making sure I'm happy with the shape. I'm going to go over it. Okay, so now we're going to mimic the curved line that I just fixed up, that curved line that is dividing up the nose from the cheeks. So you want to skip over the eye and continue that curve, the same curved line, all the way toward the outside of your head, and then do it on the left side, trying to keep the spacing the same between the lines. And notice I'm sketching these lines. I'm not drawing too hard, and I'm sketching them, trying to keep the space between equal. All right, now we're going to do the same thing above the nose. There's a little curve above the nose. Bring that up all the way to the top of the head, keeping it curved. Try not to make it straight. You can curve it a little bit. Well, mine's a little straight. You could do it a little bit straight here, but not too straight, not perfectly straight. See how it's getting more curved the closer up to the top I get? And make sure you're drawing lightly and trying to keep the same spacing. The spacing is about the width of a pinky or finger. And now for the top of the ear. Draw horizontal lines that are on the top of the ear and that come down close to the fox's head. So they're horizontal lines that go left to right, starting at the top of the ear and going down to the base of the ear. You can see how I did it here. Okay, now these lines are going to be our guides. They're going to help us make our texture lines, the actual texture lines that represent the fox's hair. So these will help us know where to put the next bit of lines we're going to make. So grab your Sharpie, your regular Sharpie, not your fine point, or your black marker, and let's start to outline, and we're going to actually outline the nose first and fill it in. Fill it in black. This will help you get used to holding that marker and getting control of how it works. Go ahead and fill in your nose. Okay. Now I'm going to outline my eyes. So whenever you're outlining, you need to really be sure you know what shape or line you're outlining. So you can always pause the video and make sure, check your drawing, make sure you like the lines that are there because you're going to be using those lines. So continue outlining. Notice I outlined the nose lines and the outside lines of the fox's head. Only the outside lines I'm going to outline. I am not going to outline the curved lines on the inside of the face, just the outside. So I did the cheeks. Now I'm going to do the inside of the fox's eyes. I outlined the little circle. And now I'm going to outline the outside of its body. Just the outside of its body, not the inside. And now I'm going to outline the top of the head and then the little zigzag lines at the top of the head, but not the inside. Okay, now I need to adjust my ears. I want to make them a little wider and bigger at the base. So this is a good example of something you can do. If you wanted to change part of your drawing, you can do that whenever you'd like. So I'm going to make my ears a little bit wider here and then erase the line I don't want so it doesn't confuse me when it's time to outline. Now I did that because once you outline, it's permanent. I want to make sure my ears are really cute and bigger than they were before I outline. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and finish up those ears with my regular Sharpie. We're going to save our fine point Sharpie for later on. We're just using the regular one now to do the outline of the ears, and then we also did the fox's face and body. This is a great place to be. We have really gotten a lot done, and now for coloring in the eye, you can pause it if you need. I'm speeding this up just a smidge, but you can pause the video as much as you would like. And fill in the eyes. Leave the little circle white, just like that. That little circle in the middle represents light hitting the fox's eye. And now this might be my favorite part. This is the actual texture of the hair. Notice what direction my lines are going. They're going vertically, and there's one after another. So it's creating a pattern, and they're not connected. They're inside each row that we drew with pencils. So inside each pencil row, make vertical short lines that don't connect to the row below it. So there's a little space between each row of lines. And try your best to keep them all the same length. So you can make them about the length of your fingernail. And just repeat this step in each row that you drew with your pencils before. So you'll see mine is going a bit faster. You're going to want to pause the video and fill in the whole top of the fox's head. And once you do that, you are going to stop for this week, and next week we will pick up where we left off. Great job, everybody.